So looking at the draw at the moment, the winner of our match could take on the winner, or will take on the winner of either Huda or Gilmore. One of our fellow commentators as well from time to time. Let's see if there could be an all-Indian second round. We shall see.
And high, Emily Rushman from France.
Hello. Hello.
So these two have only met once before, and it was at last year's Swiss Open. Tomoka Miyazaki nowhere near where she is now in terms of her powers, but she won that day. And without sounding too, I don't know what the word would be, harsh, we're seeing the future of badminton, Bobby, up against, and I'm not going to really finish that off, but you know where I'm going with that.
I was just smiling because I was watching those two, and for some reason I got the sense that, you know how in boxing you get them standing off facing one another with just a couple of inches between their faces, and there's that, you're trying to tell who's the aggressor, who's dominant, who's trying to, you know, that's what I got the feeling of then. It feels like, I don't know why, it feels like there's a rivalry here.
Oh.
Yeah, clashing styles. Sindhu's surely getting to the end of her career. Miyazaki's just starting. You know, the old hero of India, world champion, accomplished so much, is getting undone by this little whippersnapper. You know, you don't want it to happen.
But it's a changing of the guard.
Yeah, and I just think there's a lot going on here. I can't wait to see it unfold again.
This is PV Sindhu, of course, 30 years of age now. Tall player at 179 centimeters tall, from the south of India, Hyderabad. She's 15th in the world. Of course, she's a former world #2, achieved in April of 2017. Silver medal at the Rio Olympics, bronze in Tokyo, a gold, a winning world championship in 2019, a couple of silvers in 2017 and 18, bronze in 13 and 14. So Irwan Shah there, her new coach, or newish, and Commonwealth Games defending champion now in 2022. She got silver in 2018. I
think she's only one of two female players anyway, maybe any players that have won 5 world medals. I think Zhang Ning did. I'm not sure if there's any male players. Well, Lin Dan must have.
Yeah, I'm sure he did. Asian Championships, bronze in 14 and 22. She hasn't won an awful lot on the HSBC World Tour. 5 titles. Last year's Side Modi International. But she's outside of the World Tour finals in 2018. She's never won above a 500.
Ready to play?
She, of course, has won Super Series titles, including the China Open in 2016.
Yeah, Lin Dan did win. Of course, he won 5 golds, didn't he, and a couple of silvers. But I think in terms of female players, there's not many that have won 5 World Championship medals. I mean, this is great. I mean, you've got PV Sindhu now, as you said, you mentioned Irwan Shah, who came on camera, her coach, former men's singles coach of the Indonesians. They've been working together since January or so. And you know, Sindhu's already achieved so much. There's huge pressure on her from the country to be still one of the superstars of the sport. She's one of the richest female sports persons of all time. You know, she was in the Forbes top 10 earners a couple of years ago. She's a hero. You know, she's done so much for badminton and female badminton and Indian badminton, and she's still going. And what did she just turn 30?
Yeah. Massive star.
Massive star, and you've got this teenager, Miyazaki, who won the World Junior Championships a year young.
Correct.
Lost out to Opatniputh in her year in the final, the young Thai who's yet to really explode onto the World Tour. But what has Miyazaki done in the last 12 months, 18 months or so? She's been brilliant. She's only 2 places behind Yamaguchi now in the rankings. You know, that must be a dream for Miyazaki.
Japan.
Yeah. Opatniputh, you mentioned there, she beat her in the finals, by the way. Miyazaki in Taipei Open last year.
Right.
A few months ago, and
yeah, that's right.
Pusarla Sindhu to serve.
3 titles to her name already. Miyazaki. Perhaps unfair comparisons already with An Se-young. Looks like she was almost considering.
I know, I'm just going to say, I'm glad she didn't challenge. Because who cares at level? You need to conserve at least one for a potential close finish to a game, I would argue. This is a good start from Miyazaki. A year ago, before she really became consistent, a year ago she was doing that European tour, and I watched her a few times in Orléans Masters, I think it was, or Swiss Open perhaps.
Yeah.
That's what, and she was so erratic. It almost looked like, from a junior player, watching her brilliant at times, and what she achieved. And then she came onto the World Tour at just 17, 18 years old, and she almost looked like she was suddenly shell-shocked by who she was up against, you know, playing against what must be her idols at times. And she was so up and down. Brilliant one moment and terrible the next within minutes of each other. If she plays her best today, I think Sindhu is really up against it.
Yeah, Sindhu has struggled, I think it's fair to say.
I think the struggles are more in her mind
Yeah.
than physically. I was chatting with, I'm quite friendly with Erwin Shire, and we were chatting in the hotel the other night, and you know, I was asking how's it going working with Sindhu, and you know, what's developed and what's changed, what's happening, and you know, he said physically she's great to work with, really wants to push the training, she's working really hard. It's just the mindset, it's just the she walks onto court against somebody good in competition, and there are still things that can be developed there to make her better, make her stronger in that sense.
It's hard though, isn't it, when you're 30, you're very stuck in your ways.
Yeah.
To try and change that. But yeah, I mean, hopefully it can work out.
Oh.
She's only been to 1 quarter-final this year. Sindhu, the India Open, her home tournament. Otherwise, it has been 3 second-round exits and 5 first-round exits.
There's a bit of added pressure as well on Miyazaki, though. One of her best results was last year's China Open, making the final. So that's one of her highest rankings points, making up that 6th spot in the world.
Yeah, lost to Wang Ziyi in that one.
Yeah, but she has to protect.
To protect that, yeah.
That she's gonna anything less than a final, and she'll drop.
Yeah, Miyazaki had 1 first-round exit, the Malaysia Open, 3 second-round exits. Got to the quarter-final of three tournaments, 2 semi-finals, and of course won the Taipei Open. Not a bad year for someone still so young. Very good year, in fact.
A little bit of luck here for Miyazaki. Well, net cord from Sindhu, and then one back from Miyazaki as well. Miyazaki's court coverage is absolutely brilliant. She's not that tall. What did you say in the intro? She looks about 5'6", 5'7".
I'm scared to say heights now after yesterday. We were talking about.
Absolutely, she's taller. She's taller than the stats say. I think she's actually grown in the last
Yeah,
year
I think
or
you're
two.
right, because that would get updated, right? It says 165. Well, I think the stats said 166, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, that's about 5'5". I think she's a little taller than that now, but
Yeah,
but she's still certainly no comparison to PV Sindhu. It's
no.
nearly 6 foot. She's what, 5'11", 6 foot.
Yeah, 179. Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, she covers the court so well. She's very fluid in her movement. She's very quick. Yeah, well played.
Oh yeah, good shot there.
Yeah. Oh. I think she thought that was going wide.
Yeah. She looked a bit, well, not a bit, she was very annoyed about that.
She was right there. She could have played this shuttle. Oh yeah, it came off the racket bizarrely from Sindhu. I think it came off the frame and seemed to spin in the air and tumble. Came back in court.
She looks a little flustered, Tomoka Miyazaki. Who, by the way, will turn 19 next month, and Sindhu is 3 weeks into her 30th year.
31st year.
31st year, thank you. Yes, you're right. We actually have our birthdays are quite close.
9-5.
Sindhu's in mine.
With your foot. I say no. Line judge.
Umpire trying to say
There's
no.
a lost in translation moment
Line
there.
judge. I say no.
Well, that's a bonus, isn't it, for Miyazaki? Oh, there's a bit of a glare there.
Lost in translation. Yeah, absolutely right. Good lift. Always in. Challenge.
Pusarla Sindhu challenges called.
While we await this, Bobby, you obviously you're the go-to man for when we talk about juniors. And do you remember Miyazaki watching the juniors and the junior championships? And I asked you this about Alvi Fahan yesterday. Did you think, wow, okay, this one? Or did she not? That's
She
Correction out.
just long. She so her under-19s play juniors, and her year was Spokane in 23.
Yeah.
So I was sort of following her progress in a few years before, who's doing what, and she won it in Santander in 22 when I was there, and kind of came out of nowhere. It was a surprise to me, to be honest. There were other seeded players that I thought were going to come through, but she was resilient. She moves so well, and when she puts it all together, she's been fantastic. Oh dear.
11-5 interval.
In the same way, Riko Gunji won the World Juniors, young Japanese player, and that was a surprise to me as well. There are others
Line judge.
who are bolted on to win it.
Yeah.
You look at their style, they're almost in an adult body at a young age, and they've got the game to back it up. So
Yeah.
she wasn't one of those, but it's what she's done since, I think, that really impresses me, especially the last 12 months or so.
11-5, a good start here for PV Sindhu.
Court 1, 20 seconds. Court 1, 20 seconds. Salah.
高さしっかり伝えてるから焦らずに。
どっちTomaki? Play.
Bobby, I've got to say, you know, PB Sindhu's, especially in singles where it's more pronounced with the ends. Drift, of course, is with Tomoka Miyazaki, as you can see there.
Yeah, well, that's the singles disciplines, I think, are affected more, in my opinion, than the doubles, and women's singles even more so than the men's, because of that aggressive push into the rear corners. And so, Sindhu, what a shot, deceptive, good touch.
6-13.
Yeah, so Sindhu's got the advantage on the opening game, or with the opening game, of being on the better side. It's not until we get into halfway through game 2 that we really appreciate the difference.
Yeah. Oh, that's nice. That's
excellent attack.
7-13.
The importance on this end, where Miyazaki is when she's given a chance. I like that. If it's a 50-50 chance, you've got to take them. You've got to hit down. You've got to use that pace to try and get through and break the defences of your opponent. That's the problem. That shot there is a perfect example.
Pusarla Sindhu challenges called in.
Oh, well, I thought it had gone long. Sindhu might have a point here, but the line at where we're sitting, the net cord, is exactly where the back line is for me. I don't know about you.
Yeah, exactly the same. So
and so you can't really see it.
Yeah.
So a difficult one for us to call. But on the other side of the court, that exact same shot would have been comfortably in, and you can play it into the drift and hit it with almost as much pace as you want. It's just
Challenge unsuccessful. One challenge remaining. 8-13. Play. Service over. 14-8.
That's out.
Little bit of sideways drift was there, I'm not sure.
Did look like it, you know, I agree.
Fractional, I mean, it's not huge. I think she was really hunting that corner. Good defense from Miyazaki. Oh, it's a big call from the line judge.
Massive.
Service over.
I think he's making a point after the mopping incident. Mopgate, I think they call it now.
Mopgate. Yeah, he wants to be in absolutely no doubt. Communicate.
Yeah, that's certainly gone long.
Service over. 16.
It's hard to fight your instincts.
Yeah.
When you're stretched, you know, longish rally, moving around the court, and you just forget that you've got to sort of aim for the front service line almost. Rather than the back line. The sort of doubles one I'm talking about, the back, you sort of aim for that, and it'll drift a few inches long and provide you with a good length. Oh, brilliant net shot. Oh,
she touched the
Miyazaki.
net. Oh dear.
17-9.
It's not really been her.
Let's hope we get this on replay because this is fascinating. Net cord.
Hold on.
Oh, it wasn't coming
It
over.
didn't go over.
Quickly. On your racket.
Oh,
So it wasn't going over anyway.
she would have. She didn't take that chance.
Well,
Didn't want to take any chances. Sorry.
she forgot the net, if you like. She was following the shuttle and just wanted to kill it.
The instinct was there, wasn't it?
Yeah, again, your instincts.
Oh,
You have to fight your instincts.
That's got to hurt. It's a cheap one. I do feel in those instances, if it's not going to cross anyway, that it doesn't matter if you hit the net. To me.
Oh, I don't know about that, Shazam.
Ooh.
Rules are rules.
Oh, look at Mr. Rule abider here.
No, I think it's because sometimes they are so much closer than that
Yeah,
that
no,
it
that's fair.
might have
That's
crossed
fair.
the net, and
That-
if you do hit the
yeah.
net, then
You can't talk about margins of how close or how far it is, right? I mean, you're right.
the one I don't particularly like, and we saw it yesterday,
It's a lovely shot, by the way.
when
but
your
yeah.
opponent's played a very tight net shot
Yes.
and you're very late to it and taking it almost, you know, at knee height below the net.
Okay.
If you hit the shuttle and it's going back over
Yes.
and you happen to hit that bottom bit of the net without moving the net cord at all,
After. Oh, the follow through.
yeah,
Yeah.
sort of, you know, the bottom of the net,
Yeah.
and it brushes it slightly and you've already hit the shot and it doesn't make any difference to anything, then I don't necessarily think there's a big problem with that.
But someone once said to me, rules are rules.
They did, yeah.
Yeah.
Very wise man.
So, you know, got to be consistent.
Yeah.
Talking of consistency, Miyazaki's lacking that today. It's been tough, though, on this end, of course.
You can also put your foot or any part of your body under the net and on your opponent's side, as long as you don't touch the shuttle over there.
Yeah.
Service over.
Well, yesterday we had a moment, remember, when the
11.
racket, someone let go of the racket, remember?
Chen Yufei.
That's
It didn't
right.
go under, did it? But
No,
it
it didn't.
could
It
have.
didn't.
I was
Yeah.
interested to see if
You
it
wanted to
had.
see if it had, yeah.
What had happened, because Kim Ga-yeon then missed the shot, didn't she? Brilliant smash.
Haven't
Yeah.
seen enough of that today.
Service over.
I wonder what the rule book says about,
12, 19.
you know, in doubles, if you're not on the shuttle, your partner is behind you,
Right.
say, you could sneak your racket under the net, hit your opponent in the knee without anyone trying to notice. There's got to be a rule on there somewhere.
If not, one should be written.
I'm sure there is. You can't interfere with.
No.
Oh, Miyazaki. Brilliant. Good attack.
No, listen, even if she goes on to lose this game, which in all likelihood she will, she's accruing points towards the end, Bobby.
Yeah.
Just will help, right? The mindset.
Yeah, definitely, to build confidence. Everything changes, though. In an arena like this, the change of ends is so... It makes such a difference
Yeah.
that, yes, if you're coming back and building some confidence, that's one thing. But I think you just gain in confidence from the fact that you're now on and you can enjoy the
True.
better end of the court.
Over.
I'm glad to see she's still fighting for every point, though.
30.
She's so far down in the game and she's outstretched here in defence.
7 game points for PV Sindhu.
Good shot. She's very quick from the rear corners, being late in the rear corners to getting to the net, Miyazaki. Very light on her feet.
Service over. 14, 20.
That 7-point run that Sindhu had earlier on in the match, or in the middle of the first game. Even though she's on the better end, that's not something that Miyazaki can afford to let happen.
Just a little flourish here
Yeah.
from the young Japanese player. Just to frustrate Sindhu.
shot.
That's a nice way to win it. So PV Sindhu goes with the form here on the with the ends.
Won by Pusarla v Sindhu,
Wins the first game pretty comfortably, 21-15.
Yeah, it was solid stuff from Sindhu. I think the second game could be entirely different though. Could, has the potential.
Now is great. Yeah, so Sindhu more than. But again, sometimes it's only just with one but sometimes, but most of the time is down because drift. From here, no net, remember, she want to spin early, so you can lift, right? No. But when she drive, just lift down because the drift is going there already fast anyway. But anytime you can drift, so she can lift down. Side, yeah, not body too much. Side, especially when but if she can take it really again, like panjang.
相手のスマッシュとか球が伸びてくるか走ってくるかディフェンスのところにしっかりしつこく難しくしなくて。すぐ出てくるから。
120 seconds. Spot 120 seconds. Coaches. Coach. Pusarla on the court. Tomoka. Court. Second game. Love all. Play.
So now, second game here. Miyazaki on the end, which she and pretty much everyone else has preferred. Going into the drift, she can play with maybe a bit more freedom.
Service over.
The last time they met,
1
PV Sindhu won the first 21-16. And Miyazaki took the next two. Good. Terrific from Miyazaki.
Yeah, really nice. Immediate change there.
Good cross block. Stretching Sindhu. Perfect attack. Oh yes, PV Sindhu. That was magical.
Bobby, did you manage to catch much of what Irwan Shah had said to PV Sindhu?
A little. There was quite a lot of focus on controlling the net, the forecourt. I heard the word drift.
Yeah.
I'm glad that just backs up what we're looking at and what we think. It's difficult for us really sometimes to try and appreciate exactly how important things like the conditions are, but it's clearly a factor. And there was no doubt that the game styles change from end to end. I didn't really hear what the strategy should be to combat Miyazaki here on this second end, but there was quite a lot of focus on the forecourt stuff.
3-1.
Dangerous tactic in the first place there from PV Sindhu, even if she kept the shuttle in court.
Out. Service over. 2-4.
down to that. Well, good
Oh.
reactions there.
Terrific
from Miyazaki.
reaction.
Oh, it's a point. It just transforms you when you go onto the other end, doesn't it?
Look at that defense. Yeah, it does. I mean, that kind of shot, cross, well, almost a cross lift, but a flat, aggressive lift. And again here, into those rear corners. That one's just gone wide, I think. We've got a big sort of advertising awning wall in front of us. We can't see the
that's
line judges in front of us. Normally
unusual
we can.
for us, isn't it?
Yeah, from our elevated positions. So we can only see what you can see on screen. But in real view, it's very useful for us to see what the line judges are signalling, isn't it?
Agreed.
Well played, Sindhu.
4-5.
It's going to be intriguing if Sindhu manages to keep with Miyazaki
Keep
here,
pace with
because
her.
yeah, there'll be a big fight towards the end of the game. Both players could feel like, well, Miyazaki has to win it. Sindhu might feel like she's got a chance to and put all of her efforts into this game as well. It will make the third quite fascinating
Yeah.
if Miyazaki finds a way through. It's going wide. Yeah, a little bit of left to right drift nowadays.
6,
Yeah, something we
5.
hadn't really noticed before.
No, certainly not yesterday.
So it could be a door or an air conditioning or... But now here's one for you, Bobby, because you know I love to wing these out.
Can't wait. I'm not sure what you're about to say, but
Service over. 6,
Well,
I'm excited.
PV Sindhu throughout her career, after winning the first game, goes on to win 73% of the time. Now that's over her career.
Whether 2 or 3 games.
Yes, correct.
Okay.
7,
This year,
6.
that has dropped down to 38%. 39%, half almost.
Wow. Wow.
So it's a big, big drop.
Oh, good save from Miyazaki again.
This time she cannot, and that brings Sindhu level.
Service over. 7-0.
Sindhu must be she must be stressed out by yet another slightly built Japanese opponent. You look at those epics. I mean, she's had some good matches with Yamaguchi over the years, but Okuhara in particular.
Yeah, that's the big...
That World Championship final, I think it was All England final once. Just epic matches.
I think it was a very sweet message she sent Okuhara, didn't she, recently?
Oh, I don't know about this.
Sindhu, yeah.
Shot from Miyazaki. Lovely little reverse slice.
8-7.
Yeah, there was a... It was in June. Sindhu left a very heartfelt message to Nozomi Okuhara. They played each other in the first round of the Indonesia Open. First
9-7.
time they met in a while, and she just said 14 years, 20 matches, from my longest to the shortest World Championship finals, always with her. Keep fighting, Nozomi. The court's never quite the same without you. Very
Aw.
sweet, very, very sweet.
That is sweet. I like that.
Yeah.
Excellent. Miyazaki finding the court
7.
more than missing when she goes for those lines today, and it's a very impressive attack. Had plenty of time to measure the shot.
Interval.
So at the interval, Miyazaki in front here by 4 against PV Sindhu in the second game, though Sindhu won that first one. Nicely poised, this match.
自分がネット前からレグだったりをしっかり打ち分けれるようなテンポをつける。最後さ、こうからさ、ちょっとリバース気味にストレート入れたら、後ろからの配球はどっちかというと無理して打つっていうよりかは、自分が前に入りやすいような配球をしていて、ネット前からもうしっかりの強気でロブ、ストレートコースガンガン振っていく。
Court 1, 20 seconds.
ちょっと後ろはこう分かんない。
Court 1, 20 seconds. Players on court. 11-7. Play.
So it is going with the ends at the moment, as it has pretty much throughout the tournament. Not many have defied that. Chen Yufei yesterday had a comfortable win. We've got Anse Young next as well against Michelle Lee. That'll be interesting to see. Miyazaki certainly struggled in the first game, and so is Sindhu here in the second. Yamasha doing all he can to help his charge.
It's like you're playing against two opponents and the drift is significant. It takes so much concentration as well.
I mean, Bobby, you and I have both commentated all over the world, and
14-8.
we know some of the driftiest places in Indonesia and Singapore and Malaysia. How do you find this one in comparison in terms of the strength of the dip?
Oh, it's right up there.
Isn't it right up there, I would think, right?
Yes, I mean, it's not significant on camera because there's not a lot left to right, but it is significant in length.
I've never seen, I don't recall it going that long in other places, you know. I mean, they're quite drifty. Singapore's quite bad at times.
Yeah,
not bad, I mean drifty.
Axiata in Malaysia is slow typically, but there's drift quite often. Where were we recently?
Indonesia.
There was huge left to right drift.
It was more sideways there, wasn't it?
Yeah. And, you know, that's a different story altogether. It's different. It's actually easier, I think, to combat left to right or right to left drift, sideways drift, than it is to do front to back. When you're in that moment, in that rally, and you've just got to look for the length and you forget, it's hard to... Sindhu's job right now in game 2 is every point she plays, every shot she plays, she's got to remember the drift. And that's the difficulty. It's sapping your concentration levels, your focus. Whereas Miyazaki can do that to her heart's content, you know, just hold the shuttle and bang it into the rear corners.
Tomoka Miyazaki challenges
Well,
called out.
I was wondering whether that was in or out, and Miyazaki is challenging that. It was called out. I mean, I don't remember the lengthways drift being this severe, where we are almost set for 3 games in all the singles matches, pretty much.
I was speaking with Kenneth Johnson last night in the hotel, and we were talking about it. He was just heading off to coach Leong Junghao, now with Malaysia, of course, and we were watching Lakshya Sen on screen in the hotel.
He was leading at one point.
Oh, it's caught the line, I think.
Correction.
And And we were talking about the drift, and he said he likes it. You know, he likes that variation on the World Tour where there are different arenas with different conditions, some fast, some slow, some sideways drift, some back and forwards. It provides us with a different brilliant. Sending Sindhu the wrong way. Again, that comfort level of holding the shuttle and firing it into those rear corners. So much easier for Miyazaki on that side of the court than for Sindhu.
It's a skill set, isn't it? You go to Europe, you get less of that. You go to Asia, you're not going to get that, and then it tests you.
Well, yes, and some players will therefore be more conditioned to going to 3 games, and some won't. We're looking at game point here, by the way, as Miyazaki's running away with his second. Oh,
comfortable.
Brilliant from Miyazaki. But I said earlier, we don't know the extent of the drift and how it's affecting the match until we're well into the second, until both players have had a chance to play on the good and bad end, so to speak. We now know, and we also know that Miyazaki's going to finish the match on that far side, which I feel is important.
Okay, Sindhu, come on. Yeah.
On coach. Tomoka. Final game. Low ball. Play.
So probably a fascinating third about to get underway here. And Miyazaki, she will have, we saw her just do a little flourish at the end of that first game when she was on this end, where she seemed to perhaps start to get to grips with things.
Yes, she did. She was fighting more for the attack, and like there, she's really going for it. We saw, where was it? Mixed doubles earlier. The Chinese came out in the third, started on this bad end, and just went for it. You know, it's almost like it's a free point.
Yeah.
Any point and every point you make on this bad side now for Miyazaki is a free hit. As many as she can get as possible. She's not going to get as many if the rallies go long, because ultimately Sindhu will start using the bigger court, if you like, that Miyazaki is on.
You use the phrase, take the game, or effectively the match, by the scruff of its neck.
She's got to.
And this is what you need to see.
She's got the wind behind her. She's got to use a controlled attack to try and get as many points as she can. And Sindhu has got to make hay while the sun's shining on that side. She needs a healthy lead here. And there's always a little fascinating aspect as to what the scoreline might be at the break, at the turnaround, because judging by how Miyazaki won 14 of the last 15 points on the second end, on the good side.
That's incredible, isn't it?
Right.
Including
so
a 9-point streak.
That suggests, if we just use that alone, Sindhu needs to be 11-3, 11-4 up to prevent that happening again, which we probably won't see. So
yeah,
it's going to be fascinating. If Sindhu is heavily up at the break, we've still got a match on our hands. If it's level at the break, if it's close, then who knows what's going to happen. And And of course, it all goes out the window when we get to 18 all, 19 all at the end.
Right.
You know, forget that. It's all then a game of mental strength. So, yeah, these third games, these deciding games are fascinating.
3 love.
Yeah, showing her frustration there, Miyazaki. There's that youthful exuberance that we talk about. These young players that
Service over.
show their emotion.
So
1-3.
I've got absolutely no doubt that at some point quite soon, because you love these stats, you're going to tell us when it goes to 3,
Yes.
who
Thank
wins, who's got the higher win percentage. Because you seem to like that one, and I think it's a good time to bring it in.
Challenges called out.
Well, we'll enjoy. We'll have this challenge first.
Yeah. Well, she's barely taken her eyes off that screen, Miyazaki. Waiting for this result. As I said, every point on this less preferred side, so to speak, is like gold dust. So for Miyazaki, any point she can win at the start of this third. Oof.
Challenge unsuccessful.
Ah,
One challenge remaining.
got a good start here
Service over.
for Sindhu.
4-1. Play.
Oh. Well, Sindhu was pushing the net so obviously.
5-1.
I don't think she would have recovered very well if that shuttle had stayed in court. But again, the drift is making things so hard for Miyazaki. Has to attack, yes.
Oh, very nice.
Oh,
Oh, it's got back. Well done, there, Sindhu.
caught the net as well. Good shot from Sindhu. She can afford to use those punch clears, those flat lifts.
6-1.
She's comfortable when she plays it because it's very unlikely to go out. And Miyazaki is having to work so hard.
So, you asked me about deciding games. Now, let's start with Sindhu. In her career, it's only 54% in deciding games that she goes on to win.
Okay.
But
Tomoka.
from
just
January of
above
this year, it's 14%.
When she's pushed to 3,
Yes,
she
this year.
loses
She's only won.
86% of the time.
Correct, this
Wow.
year. With Miyazaki, it was 58% in her career. 68% in her career, sorry.
68, so better than Sindhu.
Yeah, and this year it's been 50%. So it does drop, but nowhere near as much as it has for Sindhu. Right now, though, Sindhu's.
So the odds are in
Miyazaki's.
Miyazaki's favour.
But look at the scoreline. This is exactly where Sindhu wants to be right now. This is almost perfect from her perspective.
It is. Miyazaki at the end of game 2, though, 9 points in a row.
Yeah.
14 out of 15. This change of ends is really important.
Service over.
Absolutely key.
7.
Listen, with that kind of one-sided momentum to come into this, it really does underline the differences and these ends make, doesn't it?
Yeah. And it's those players that can handle that, really set themselves above the rest. You know, in my opinion, An Se-young is one of the best in the world at managing conditions. And lucky for us, she's next on court. That's going to be interesting to see how she copes with this. Look at that.
Wow, look how long that was.
Almost into the grey carpet. We're talking nearly a metre
Yeah.
long she's hit that.
Wow, that's really long. She really does not want to leave a lot to be done, a lot of work to be done.
Get ready quicker, Tomoka.
Miyazaki told to hurry up.
Miyazaki, by the way, has played more matches on the World Tour than anybody else in women's singles. I think she's level with a Korean that's quite far sort of down in the rankings, you know, in terms of the world.
number of matches or tournaments.
Sorry, tournaments. Which, well, and therefore matches.
Yeah.
You would argue.
Yeah.
Unless she's going out first round, which we know she's not.
Yeah.
But she's played 22, I think, in this ranking period, which is more than anybody else in the top.
Wow.
15, 20, 25, 30 perhaps.
Wow.
And I think you need the break, you need the interval, not just to have a break, but also the chance to develop the training cycle, to be in your comfort zone when you're hitting shuttles, because competitive tournaments, especially here, Super 1000, against the drift, against the former world champion, you're not in your comfort zone, you're giving everything. You're stretching your body, your mind is...
Oh, wonderful way to bring up the interval there for PV Sindhu. This is about as perfect a first half of a third game that you'd want. Obviously 11 love would be ideal, but 11-2, I mean, 9-point lead. I think she'd have snapped your hand off for that, Bobby.
Well, yes, I said she'd need something like 11-3 or something. 11-2 is even better, obviously, and you know, good strategy. Must be good coaching going on up there. She's used the ends as wisely as she can, and now it's Miyazaki's turn. I mean, that's the thing. It's how can Sindhu cope now on the lesser favoured end.
20 seconds. Players on court.
Take everything back, okay? So like
11-2. Play. Tomoka Miyazaki. Tomoka, come here. Tomoka Miyazaki. One informed misconduct. Delay.
There's a delay, a card there shown to Miyazaki.
Was that a yellow card?
Yeah, just to add to everything else that's been going on for her. Now, supreme focus and application required here from Tomoka Miyazaki if she wants to win this.
This is going to be close. It sounds ridiculous to argue, given the scoreline, but if Miyazaki can just keep her nerve, like you say, focus, it ought to be 2 points for every one at least. It might even be 3 points for every one. We saw how dominant Miyazaki was on that side of the court in game 2. Good shot from Sindhu. Oh, she can't back it up.
Yeah, it was a great shot, you're right.
It's the early stages here where the focus is required. If Sindhu was to get, if they were to get 4 points each, let's say, and the score was going to be, what was she on, 2? So 15-6, then it becomes a bit of a daunting prospect. If Miyazaki dominates at the start and gets back in the game...
Oh, she's gone long. Oh dear. That's one you would think she would make.
Got a bit too excited there, I think, Miyazaki.
That's a cheap one to give away. That's going to hurt a little bit. I don't think we've had a match so far, Bobby, that's been this pronounced in terms of the ends. I'm trying to recall. This is now the 9th match we've done on this court.
I think, I mean, the conditions haven't changed an awful lot.
No.
I think players have coped with it better.
Yeah, the score lines are reflecting just how wild it can be.
That's the way Sindhu has to approach things from this side. Give it everything in attack. When she gets the chance, when she gets half a chance, she needs to go for it. She needs to assert herself.
You heard that come on that she was shouting to herself. Now, you were saying around 15-6, and that starts to get... We're not far from that.
Yeah, suddenly the pressure of the score and running out of time, it all creeps into your head. You haven't got the luxury of being able to work your way into it.
It's a good shot there from
She
Sindhu.
needs to work hard here, Miyazaki, and get the scoreline back to within a few points. Brilliant. Rifled down the line.
She needs that 9-point run that she had in the last game, basically, now.
Yeah, look at this. Net shot to set it up. And a very accurate smash. She smashed well today, actually. She's been hitting those lines, Miyazaki, when she gets the chance.
I haven't seen enough of those. Looking to attack.
Good
Sindhu.
Yeah. Miyazaki was down on the floor in defense. I think these intervals, these breaks are going to work in Miyazaki's favour more so than Sindhu's. Just, you know, getting used to the fact that, hey, you're on the worst end. You know, you've got to combat that. There's more to think about. And given the time to think is only going to make things worse. Sindhu almost wants to rattle a few points off the board straight away like that. Quick rallies, quick points.
14-7.
She's got furrowed brow here. There's a determination here from PV Sindhu. Oh, nice shot.
Oh, Miyazaki needed to go over the top of Sindhu there. It's in. It's on the line. It's a great shot from Miyazaki.
You feel that's in, yeah?
Yep. I think so. I think Sindhu's going to have to get very lucky here if Hawkeye comes to her rescue.
Oh, yeah. Inside the line, pretty much. She's good.
One challenge remaining.
It is
Service over.
6-3 since the interval in favour of Miyazaki. Needs to be keep going.
Oh, that is lovely. Just the little hold, tiniest of movements with the double action, and sent Sindhu the wrong way once again. Great racket skills from Miyazaki. Oh, no.
Very wayward.
Service over. 15-9.
Just to get in the mindset of being happy, comfortable with these longer rallies here, Miyazaki.
Instead of trying to force the issue?
Yeah, I don't mean defend. I don't mean sort of give Sindhu the chance necessarily, but just play with an element of conservatism. She can keep moving Sindhu on the long diagonals, and gradually those conditions will play a part and make things easier for Miyazaki.
Well, Sindhu's in a pretty good position here, leads by 7. Still trailing since the interval, but she's kept pace pretty much. Not far away from Miyazaki, who needs to really do something special here now.
Oh no, Miyazaki.
17-9.
That's one thing that she cannot buy, she cannot train for, she cannot learn, is experience. And the more and more these top players play in these big arenas, the more they'll get used to this situation.
Yeah.
Because it is common, it's so common. And Miyazaki is not yet in a comfort mode. She's not relaxed, she's not thinking about the conditions
Fair.
of playing with that benefit and advantage. She's almost forgetting what to do here. On the line, I think. No challenge from Sindhu.
10-17.
Yeah.
Now a run desperately required from Miyazaki. She wants to
Giving Sindhu the shuttle
Yeah.
mid-court.
agreed.
I mean, Sindhu's a tall player anyway.
Service over. 18.
She has to bring her in and then go over the top and, you know, make her court bigger.
Service over.
Nice shot.
Yeah, it's no point getting
18.
a point here and there now. Miyazaki needs a run. A big run.
That's better from Miyazaki. Bring her in, go over the top, but flat
been
and
lacking, hasn't
aggressive.
it?
12-18.
That's the style that worked so well for her in the second game. A little bit lucky from Miyazaki. Don't think she quite had the height required with that aggressive lift. Cut out by Sindhu, but she's missed. Couple more and this will get interesting.
Correct. 5 away. This is a 3-point run at the moment for Miyazaki.
Pusarla, get ready.
No. Couldn't get it over.
19-13.
Some of the shot selections here from Miyazaki for me are questionable. Had the hold on the first net shot, could have easily gone over the top. Again, conditions mean sometimes you're playing against your instincts. Superb.
More of that required.
Service
Perhaps.
over.
Still 5 points away.
14-19.
Good control from the Japanese. Lovely, lovely. I was thinking to myself earlier, we hadn't seen many flick serves.
15-19.
And then the hold go over the top again. That's the shot from that side that Miyazaki needs to keep using. Great net shot from PV Sindhu.
Sets up match point here. 5 of them for PV Sindhu.
20, match point 15.
What a time to find that kind of quality as well. Good net shot again from Sindhu. Oh!
Sets over. 16, 20.
Grits her teeth there, PV Sindhu.
4 match points still to save for Miyazaki.
Serve had just enough, so it seems.
She did say about a month ago that she was adapting her game, changing her approach.
Good shot, Miyazaki. Sorry.
Good. Oh no, that's a... Miyazaki will be disappointed with that, but PV Sindhu lets out a big roar after a big win.
Massive. What a win for Sindhu. I mean, we talked right at the beginning, I was saying how they look like two boxers about to sort of, you know, face off. And whilst they've only met once, it felt like there's a rivalry there.
Well, she hasn't gone beyond the second round of a Super 1000 since the Indonesia Open in 2021. So she's got one more match to win to get even beyond that round. So can she do it by defeating a seed here?
Yeah, 6th in the world, a young up-and-coming former world junior champion. Another Japanese opponent. You know, she's come through that.
Yeah.
You know, we talked about that rivalry with Okihara over the years, and all of that plays in the mind, you know, and to come through it today, massive credit to PV Sindhu.
So PV Sindhu of India beat Japan's Tomoka Miyazaki, the 6th seed, 21-15, 8-21, 21-17 in just about an hour. Up next, it's women's singles again. Top seed, world number 1 from Korea, An Se-young plays Michelle Lee of Canada. Well, it's been a wonderful city to walk around, I can tell you that, Changzhou. And will she have a walk in the park here? We don't know. An Se-young is up against Michelle Lee in the women's singles match coming up here. The Korean world number 1 has been strolling through her matches in 2025.